your great-grandmother, your mother's grandmother, in the book plays a very important role as somebody who sort of inspired him and your mum to go up country and do some good.
I cannot remember my great-grandmother. I'm pretty sure she died before I was born. That's the impression I get from talking to my dad and my mother. Whether it's so or not, I couldn't really verify it.
But she was a full-blood Native American.
Indian. Yes, my great-grandmother was a full-blooded Native, born on the Tusi Reserve, before the white man came here.
So what would her people be called?
Well, they would be called Chilcotins.
The original people of this country.
Chilcotin generally refers to the west side of the river. We have natives here, we'll say off Sugarcane Reserve, but they're not Chilcotin.
Now, she was an interesting woman. You've told me something very interesting about her role long, long before Eric Collier came to this country.
Yes, you've probably heard of the Chilcotin massacre. And my great-grandmother was one of the few people who was bilingual in that they could speak both Chilcotin and English. So, as you know, these natives involved in the Chilcotin massacre were granted amnesty if they would surrender, and they did, and then they were taken to Quesnel and hung, and my great-grandmother was an interpreter at that trial. There is also some speculation that she was the one who went out and contacted these natives and encouraged them to turn themselves in. Whether that's true or not, I can't say for sure.
These were the chieftains. Was it the chiefs who had to surrender?
I don't know whether they were chiefs or just the ones who actually did the killing.
But they came in on the understanding that they would be
That is correct.
pardoned.
Yes, I mean, that's an undeniable fact.
And do you think that had an effect on your great-grandmother? What happened to them?
Well, my great-grandmother and her husband set up a small farm ranch type of place on the west side of the Fraser. They never went very far away from that. And I asked a friend of mine one time who was quite interested in the same thing. Well, there was plenty of land much out west that would have been much better to take up and become ranchers. And he said, well, your grandmother wasn't too popular in those days in that part of the country. That was his interpretation. I don't know whether it's fact or fiction.
What do you make of the story that Eric Collier tells that your great-grandmother, he calls her Lala in the book.
Yes.
What's her real name?
Tsilhqot'in. Not very many people know that.
Could you say it again?
Tsilhqot'in.
Chilcotin.
No T on the end. Tsilhqot'in or Na. Chilcotin or Chilcotin, I'm not sure.
Okay.
You can spell it any way you want.
And it's because of that name that you know she was the interpreter, is it? It's in the record.
Yeah. I don't know whether her name Chilcotin was there, or at that, yes. Or rather she was Nancy Swanson. Swanson was her husband.
Okay.
And I would assume that was before this trial. So she's probably called Nancy Swanson, I believe.